Welcome to Fredrico's Kitchen. I'm Fredrico. Today we're going to show you how to make great meals from items you may already have at home. So let's get started. Today's recipe is nut crusted flounder on a bed of spinach. For this recipe we're using 3 flounder fillets, and what we're going to do is we're going to make a topping to go over the flounder before we bake it. The ingredients for the topping are 2 tablespoons of mayo, a tablespoon of mustard, a 1/4 cup of dry roasted peanuts, salt, pepper, seasoning salt, garlic powder, crushed red pepper, basil, little lemon juice. Now we're ready to season the fish. So we're going to use the same seasoning that we use to make the topping. This is going to really give us some flavor that we need before we put it in the oven. And I like well-seasoned food like most people do. And we're going to season the other side as well. You have to be careful with flounder because it's very delicate and it will break if you're not careful with it. So once the fish is seasoned very well, then all we're going to do is make that topping, pop it in a 400-degree oven for about 15 minutes, and we're done. Now we need to crush our peanuts for our topping. So what we're going to do is we just pour them in a little small Ziploc bag, squeeze the air out, and you just take like whatever you have around the house, maybe a canned food item, a hammer, and just crush your peanuts down to little bitty bite-sized pieces, because that's going to be our topping after we put the other ingredients on. And now you're all set and almost ready to go in the oven. Okay, we got to mix the sauce to place on the fish. So I've already put the mayo and the mustard in the bowl. I'm just going to mix it a little bit very well, and then I'm going to add the other ingredients. A little garlic, little crushed red pepper, little basil, seasoning salt, pepper, and a little lemon juice. And so we're going to mix that well and then put that over the top of the fish and top it with the nuts. So we're just going to spread that out over the top. So that, as you can see, it looks kind of weird, but it's going to taste better than you think it would. And then we're going to place the nuts over the top. We just spread that out liberally to cover it, and we add the nuts and we're done. So we're just going to sprinkle the nuts liberally that we've crushed up earlier over the top, and we're going to bake it in a 400-degree oven for about 15 minutes. We're going to cover it with a little foil to seal in the juices, and it does not take long at all for this to be done. And that's it. Now we need to cook the spinach for our nut crusted flounder. So we're just gonna put the spinach in. We put a little oil in the pan, and basically it doesn't take long for the spinach to cook, only 4 or 5 minutes. So, and it's gonna cook down really nicely.
My hand got messed up. Yeah, so you gotta, when you're there, never mind.
Now we're cooking the spinach. So we just put the spinach in a hot pan with a little bit of oil. You can use vegetable oil, you can use olive oil. And basically it's only gonna take a few minutes for the spinach to get done. And this is what your nut crusted flounder is gonna sit atop of. The spinach has cooked down because it's getting wilted. That's let you know that it is done. And it only takes a few minutes to do that, and then we're going to check on our fish, and then we're going to be ready to plate it. Just going to add a little bit of garlic to finish it off. to add a little flavor to it. We're going to season it a little bit with a little salt and pepper. And the spinach is ready to go. Now it's time to plate up our nut crusted flounder on our bed of spinach. And now we're going to plate up our fish, our flounder, nut crusted flounder with the bed of spinach. So we put a little spinach in the center of the plate. It's the first thing we do. Then we're going to take our flounder and just put it right on the top. Just like so. That's nut crusted flounder with a bed of spinach. That brings to a close another episode of Fredrico's Kitchen. Hope you enjoyed the show. Now it's time to enjoy our nut crusted flounder on a bed of spinach. Bon appetit.